Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. I'm Jason Pisecki. We've got a great program today. We're going to hear from one of our own, Claire Root Benson, with a program on the Pop-In programs. We also have an induction and a major award, so you're going to get your full dose of Rotary business today. We'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Then we'll have a reflection by Jane Mountain. Also, later in the meeting, we'll have student guests as well. So, Jane? Let's all start over again so I can participate. Let's see. Last week I forgot the four-way test because I was so in a hurry to see Miggy's 3,000th hit. So let's do the pledge. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, now we'll do a reflection.
It was I who threw him off. He wasn't expecting me to be right there and ready. Well, it seems like spring this year is long and slow, rainy and cold. But in my yard, I see daffodils blooming and garlic popping up to grow tall. I see the deep green of comfrey awakening from a bed of leaves. The lilac is leafing out and soon will flower with beauty and fragrance. Soil teems with life to nurture the plants. Showers water the earth, and sun sets new growth. These signs of spring remind me that spring is a time of awakening of the earth to its fullest potential in providing beauty and food, shade, and places of sanctuary. Like the plants around us, you and I are hardwired to grow and reach our fullest growth. The soil of relationships, the showers of kindness, and the sunshine of wisdom nurture us. We cannot reach our full potential without the helping hands of others. And as we grow and thrive, we reach out to others in service. In doing so, we find that service to others is essential in reaching our own full development as humans. Let us pray. God of life, you have given us the joy of spring to remind us of our yearnings and desires. Teach us the lessons of service to others so that we might find joy in working toward a world in which all have opportunity to reach their fullest potential. Amen.
All right, thank you, Jane. Please enjoy lunch, and we'll be back in a few minutes with visiting Rotarians and guests. Doug, Jay, Maggie, John, Melissa, Claire, if you can make your way up, and if anyone else has any guests, bring your guests along. Guests, don't worry, you don't have to say anything. Amy will hand your Rotarian the microphone. You can stand on the mark, and we'll introduce you to the club. So don't all stampede up here at once.
Some meetings you have to...
I felt like I called the roll. And you're first, Melissa. Don't be shy.
Last week I was first too. You got to come stand. You got to come stand here where they can see you. Okay. Hello, my name is Melissa Moore, and my guest today is Brandon Davis. Brandon has been on the Reed Muskegon Board of Directors since 2013, serving with me, and I will say he has been instrumental in helping build Reed Muskegon to the organization we are today. He's also on the board of the Muskegon Young Black Professionals and the Muskegon Civic Theater. And in his spare time, he has a private practice in Muskegon, and he is the Director of Oversight and Public Accountability for the City of Grand Rapids, and he's been approved for membership to Rotary, so soon he'll be inducted.
Fantastic, welcome. As you know, the pink bar.
Okay. Come on over. I'm Claire Root Benson, and I have 3 students with me today who are all Poppin Programs students. First is Cruz Pena. He is a student in our Sherman R. Poppin College Scholarship Program. And Deontay Mayhew and Tyree Ross, who are juniors at Muskegon High School, both in the Nancy K. Poppin program, and both instrumental in getting the Muskegon High School Rotary Interact Club back on its feet lately. So thanks for being here. Sit down.
Thank you. There you go. You're right over here, Doug.
Okay,
Pink
thank you.
mark, yeah.
Oh, that's right, Mike's got a, right here.
Trying to get you right in the camera. There we go.
Okay, it is my pleasure to introduce Dan Potts. Dan is MSU and Wayne State graduate. Usually you get some applause, somebody from MSU. Dan has coached Fruitport and Mona Shores winning team for girls volleyball and a championship at Fruitport in 2005. Currently works as a medical sales representative. Told Dan what a great group everyone is here, and Dan has also put his name in to run as a county commissioner. So I just want to have everybody introduce it. Dan was on the Mona Shores School Board.
Correct.
He did go to Reese Puffer, which, as some of you know, I was on that board, so blue and green can get together. And so anyways, introduce Dan. I know some of you know him already, so welcome him and to be a potential new member. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Here you go.
Alrighty.
Just on the pink mark.
Good afternoon, Pete Wills from the city of Muskegon. I have a visiting Rotarian from the city of Ludington, my dad, Roger Wills, who will be providing a couple minutes of comments, but former educator from Belding High School for over 40 years, so now resides in Ludington. Thank you.
Doug, I didn't believe you, I can't believe you didn't announce that Dan's my neighbor too, so that's noteworthy. Okay, on to our program. Chauncey Williams, you are going to introduce our Rotarian speaker today.
Welcome back to the club. My job required me to be at work during this time. I miss seeing so many beautiful faces. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. As you can see, I'm from Muskegon Public Schools. And at Muskegon Public Schools, I'm the career and college facilitator for K through 12. But I work in a capacity with our opportunity youth at MCEC, Muskegon Community Educational Center. And in that space, we work on career readiness, we build pathways for kids, and we work in that capacity. But it's not here about me, but it's about the Poppins program and Claire Benson. And I want to start off, a lot of times I have a bio in front of me, but I want to share how Claire has helped Muskegon Public Schools increase it in the capacity of removing barriers for our population. And I want to start with just people and students. And Claire, she asked me, it was a student by the name of Colbert Banquet, and he was in my room one day, and me and the counselors in the room drawing ideas on how a student can do school, but also bring the arts back. Because when you think about arts, there's 2 things that happen in arts: mentorship and competency. Those 2 happen all the time. So this student was in my room, and me and the counselor was drawing a picture of a student with a backpack on, headphones, possibly a microphone, some books in his hand, and we didn't know who it was. And this student said, "I can do all that in this program?" I said, "Yes, it's a program downstairs called Poppins. I want to introduce you to Miss Benson." So we introduced him to Miss Benson. He ended up getting a mentor to increase his writing skills and poetry. He later went on to be a Poetry Out Loud finalist 2 years in a row in the top 20 in the state, competed, won a $5,000 scholarship recently with Every Woman's Place, and he's taking early college classes, and he also works at the radio station 103.7 The Beat, where he has a mentor in DJQ89, which is Meehan Quinn. So, but that started with the Poppins program, but with Miss Benson saying, I'm willing to try to work with a student that wouldn't be your typical high school student. Now, the second student is a high school student, Bryce Thompson. He was a student that just was in the high school. He transitioned from Timberland Academy, so they're not part of Muskegon Public Schools. So he's in the hallway one day, and he's walking around. And I see him, and I say, Bryce, what you doing here? He said, I'm just going to school here. But this kid is so talented, freehand artist, drawer, writer, magician, all these competencies he has, but he doesn't have a mentor. I said, I'm gonna take you somewhere. So I introduced him to Miss Benson. She connects him with a master painter, Mr. McDaniel. And this student grows where he's sketching, drawing with charcoal, painting murals in my office. But also, we tied him to dual enrollment. He's a Rotary member. He's going to leadership. So again, going back to the Poppins program. The third space is the diatribe. 2 years ago, Ms. Benson approached me and said, hey, I'm trying to get into high school to do some things, and I can't get any traction. Are you willing to see if we can go to the Community Foundation and apply for this grant? I'm like, what is it? Well, it's this group out of Grand Rapids where they do this spoken word poetry, but it fits the demographic and the population of our students. And I said, let me see what it is. I said, we got to get it in this week. I'm like, I say, okay, could you write a support letter? I say, yes. So I write a support letter. We end up doing that. And we end up having that 9-week program with our English teacher. And it was during COVID. And there was some pushback by the teacher, but when the program got done, you should have seen how the students opened up. And so to let you know the final piece is, so this past year, we just got approved with another grant with a diatribe called Righting Our Wrongs. But it goes back to us doing it again for 9 weeks, but we're doing it in 3 spaces. We're doing it at the high school with our African Studies class. We're doing it at MCEC, the program that I run with. And we're doing it at Geometry and Constructions. So I'm gonna say this to everyone in this building. Partnerships are important. True partnerships, not doing something one time. Really being transparent and saying, hey, I really don't know, but I wanna know. How can I support and how can I help you? Because we have plentiful resources when we're able to not compete against each other, but be creative. So I'm gonna read the bio now, but I wanted to give you an idea of what this person is to Muskegon Public Schools and that program. And last but not least, we wouldn't have a Rotary program if it wasn't for Claire stepping up either. Because me and John, we talked about that. We kept on trying to get it. And when she found that traction in the students that had the competencies and had the mentors, they went off running with it. So here's her bio. A Muskegon native, Claire Root Benson, graduated from Mona Shores High School and then St. Olaf College in Minnesota with a degree in vocal music. After a formative year spent teaching as a second language in South Korea, Claire and her husband wanted to return to their hometown. Being intentional about her goal to become part of the next generation of professionals who care about an equitable greater Muskegon is something that has to come to define her. She currently serves as the president of the board of directors of the Muskegon Civic Theater on the governing board of her faith committee, Covenant Community Church in Muskegon Heights. And as a member of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion subcommittees of both the Mona Shores School Board and the Muskegon Rotary Club, where she is a member since 2017. She has served in the past on boards of the Family Promise of the Lakeshore and the Coalition for the Community Development. Her career has walked in a line between arts and social service, serving various roles in West Michigan nonprofits. Currently, she is grateful to wear both of those hats as the executive director of the Poppins Program Incorporated, including the Nancy K. Poppin Program for art studies for students at Muskegon Public Schools, as well as the Sherman R. Poppin College Scholarship Program. She lives in Roosevelt Park with her husband, Derek Benson, Medicaid eligibility specialist for senior resources and DHSS, and their 7-year-old son, Rory, and 4-year-old daughter, Cora, as well as 1 sassy orange cat, 2 cranky guinea pigs, and the sweetest boxer puppy. I want to introduce, and I'm gonna do it this way, Claire Benson for our speaker today for the Poppins program, because you can't get it no other way. You have to get it popping when you're working with Muskegon Public Schools.
Well, thank you,
Oh, yes.
Chauncey.
It's all true.
Thank you, Chauncey. Chauncey is one of our board members for the Poppin Programs Incorporated. That'll get used in a second there. So thanks, Chauncey. He serves on our board. Many of you in Muskegon probably have been aware of the philanthropic efforts of the Poppin family through the Harbor Hospice Poppin House, or you might have heard of Sherman Poppin as the local inventor of the snurfer and the sport of snowboarding. But Sherm, as he liked to be called, was a proud member of this Rotary Club. He owned Lake Welding here in town. And he did not make his money from patenting the snurfer. Thanks, Mike. But as he put it, he was blessed in his business and he wanted to bless his community. His wife, Nancy, was a local visual artist. And as Sherm and Nancy watched their community shift, struggling with the many challenges left by area urban disinvestment and declining property values in our urban core, they were particularly concerned for steep cuts that arts departments were facing in the public schools in the 1980s and early 90s. So Nancy knew she wanted her legacy to be a way for individually talented and motivated students from lower income backgrounds to be able to have access to opportunities like private lessons and summer experiences in the arts in a way that would just be out of reach for most of their families' budgets. So in 1993, Sherm and Nancy established the Nancy K. Poppin Fund at the Community Foundation for Muskegon County after having learned of a devastating and terminal diagnosis for Nancy. And I just think it's so beautiful that in the midst of that, that's what they wanted to focus on. Their vision included a program that would help the students who applied by funding their arts studies outside of school hours for Muskegon Public Schools. A proud Big Red himself, Sherm saw a need at his alma mater, and Nancy's passion for the arts and her strong memory in the community made it a reality. Through their giving and their friends and family members of this Rotary Club, the funds are now at a point where we sustainably support 40 to 60 students each year on weekly lessons during the school year. And the programs are really a three-way partnership between the Poppin Programs Incorporation, our board of directors, Muskegon Public Schools, and the Community Foundation for Muskegon County. So we have students who can apply in 3rd through 11th grade when they're enrolled at any Muskegon public school. There's no out-of-pocket cost to the family for the lessons or anything that they need for those lessons. And we also do some cultural and arts performances throughout the year, college campus visits for the high school aged Nancy Poppin students, and there are opportunities for our serious committed students in the program to be eligible for funding for opportunities like Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp or other pre-college experiences. And it becomes a big game changer for some of the kids for whom this is their thing. So I'm going to show you a couple of photos. This one's an oldie but a goodie. This is Deontay, like 4 or 5 years ago when he was in middle school at his very first solo and ensemble competition. He got a 1, if I remember right. He's a great musician. And this one's also a little oldie but a goodie. This is Cruz, who I'm going to bring up in a minute, and a couple other high school students working on a mural with one of their Poppin instructors that is currently in the Muskegon Middle School orchestra room. And these are 3 of my then senior girls pre-pandemic when we went to go visit Olivet College and take a look at their Women's Leadership Institute that day. And one of them did end up going to major in art at Olivet. And this is a little snapshot. I didn't want to inundate you guys too much with pictures of our art, but this is just a snapshot of one of our year-end art shows. So you can see just from that little snapshot there that these kids are doing high-level work. This is not just coming in to paint for fun. They're really talented kids, and they're working with great people. And then this is Colbert Banquet, whom Chauncey talked about at the Poetry Out Loud competition. That was a state-level competition where he was representing Muskegon High School in Lansing in March this year, and thanks, Colbert, for driving him down there for me. And last one here, on the left, you can see there is a reproduction of a Degas painting. It was a study that was done in one of our middle school art classes with 3 of our girls and their Poppin instructor. It's huge, it's 4 by 5 feet, and it's one of my favorite things hanging in our art room at the moment. And our youngest Nancy K. Poppin member, Malachi Johnson, he's a 3rd grader at Moon Elementary, and he's thrilled about starting painting lessons with Creative Frame Studios in Lakeside. So once a student applies successfully for entrance in the Nancy K. Poppin program, they can continue participating until they graduate from Muskegon High School. For some, the program's just a chance to explore something new that lasts for a season in their educational journey, but for others, it opens the doors to a career path. And in the year 2000, Sherm and his second wife, Louise, came to town, and they were talking with some of the Nancy K. Poppin students at the time, learning that there were a lot of students who felt like athletic scholarship opportunities were pretty abundant, but scholarship opportunities for creatives, not so much. And being involved in the arts can be a really expensive endeavor. So in the year 2000, they set up the Sherman R. Poppin Fund at the Community Foundation. And that fund has now grown to the point where we're generally able to support most of the eligible students who apply with funds enough to close the gap between what they're awarded in their FAFSA process and the actual cost of attending college. And we're trying to limit the impact of student loans for those students. Alternately, the funding can be used for young artist programs and apprenticeship costs or needed technology or arts supplies that just don't get accounted for in financial aid packages. So one of our Sherman Poppin students, Cruz Pena, is here with me today. Some of you might remember him when he was a life leadership conferee. He came and talked to us before the pandemic at some point. So Cruz has been in the Poppin program since 6th grade, studying both visual arts and viola, and he is now majoring in viola performance at Grand Valley State University through the Sherman R. Poppin program and lots of other scholarships he diligently applies for. This kid amazes me. So he's also using some of our Sherman R. Poppin funds to cover the really pricey costs of like summer music institute programs. Those have become a total must for classical musicians when they're hitting audition circuits after obtaining a performance degree, but the programs are like $3,000 to $5,000 at a minimum every summer. So Cruz is doing amazing stuff finding other scholarships so he can use ours for those sometimes. And anyway, I'd like to invite Cruz up to share a little bit about his experiences in the programs, and he's also going to offer us a brief performance today. So come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you, Claire, for inviting me. When asked to share my experience in the program, I mean, where can I begin? If you had asked my younger self what I'd be doing, what I'd be pursuing as a career, it certainly would have never been this. In fact, when I was 11 years old, I didn't even know what a viola was at the time until I first tried one. That fateful day. This program has absolutely changed my life, along with so many others. It seeks to establish or achieve an equilibrium, so to speak, within our community where so many people from low-income families just cannot afford to pursue the arts or other extracurricular activities such as sports, which are all happen to be behind a paywall, unfortunately. But I know that it's forever changed and made a positive impact on my life and so many others. And even for those that don't pursue careers in the arts, I know that growing up in an environment or being assisted in an environment where your work is celebrated and validated, and you get to celebrate your achievements at the end of each year. I know that makes a world of a difference, and I just think that's a beautiful thing. Now I will be performing the prelude to the third Bach cello suite for you, and I hope you enjoy. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cruz, for coming here today. And he just finished up finals this week. I don't know why he said yes to me, but I'm so glad that you did. I just wanted to sum up a little bit by visiting our program's logo. This is something that was commissioned by former Poppin' Kid Ubanal Rodriguez. We heard about some of his mural work recently at the deck with the Harris Group presentation not too many meetings ago. And he's one of the students our program's funding helped prepare for the next step and help fill that funding gap to access higher education at Kendall College of Art and Design as a first-generation college student in his family. But the logo is really intentional, and it centers around the unique relationship our Poppin' Kids are able to develop with their instructor, or sometimes, if I'm lucky, with the program director. Adults who become advocates for and with our young artists, many of whom may truly benefit from another relationship with a caring adult in their lives. So we become more than an arts program. We become a support to navigating the challenges of life in secondary school and beyond. And I just want to call a couple of things out here. As I mentioned, we serve about 40 to 60 Big Reds in the Nancy K. Poppin program at any given time, about 650 students total in the program's history, which we are in our 30th year this year. And 5 to 8 Sherman R. Poppin scholars are supported with their college scholarships every year. The cool part about my job, I think now in this time, is that we're having students who are local artists who came up through the program, who I can invite back and say, hey, look, they were in your shoes once and this is how they made it happen. So I listed a few of them lately, and of course we can serve more students as costs increase over time if support continues. So there's the name of the funds at the Community Foundation if you are inclined. And I just want to wrap up by saying empowering these talented kids with access to these opportunities results in some truly incredible things. And it's my firm belief that these are the artists that we as a society need to be hearing from and be inspired by as we're navigating what our future holds. So thank you. Sure. Yeah.
We have time for 1 or 2 questions. If anybody has any questions for Claire. Amy went way over there with the mic.
I had heard that our Rotary member, Ed Hendrickson, had donated handmade violins. Was that to your program?
Well, actually to the orchestra program at Mona Shores Middle School, but I was kind of the conduit because of our connection at Rotary. Ed made about 40 violins over the course of an pretty impressive hobby, and of course we struggle sometimes to keep instruments in our programs with our budgets at the public school. So yeah, that made a big impact at the middle school for our orchestra. Absolutely.
I actually have a quick question for Cruz, but I wanted to first say another connection between Rotary and the Poppin Institute is my good friend now, Bethany Houghton, who works with Jason at Revel, came up through the Poppin Institute when we had our Strive program, and I was her mentor.
Oh,
So
great.
you
Thanks
can
for
see
sharing.
Good things happen, and so I'm wondering what, Cruz, what your dreams are for your future.
You got to bring him the mic.
Put my instrument down. Hello again. My ultimate dream is to, well, of course, as Claire mentioned, I'm pursuing music performance at Grand Valley State University right now. This is my 2nd year. That's just wrapping up. And just coincidentally, I've had to recently complete a mid-performance review where the faculty get together and assess what my progress has been like and what my aspirations are. One of those being, and perhaps the main one, I'd like to pursue a career as a collegiate music educator. So I'd like to teach eventually viola at a higher, an institution of higher education. of course, to do that, you have to have plenty of experience teaching and plenty of experience performing. So, of course, I'm going to be supplementing that with several music competitions, several summer string intensives that are so important to bolster the resume, so to speak, of a musician. Programs such as Aspen or Tanglewood, if those are familiar to you. Yeah, I think that kind of sums it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's have another round of applause. Got a little bit of Revel trivia today. I did not know that, Kathy. Claire, thank you very much for presenting. On behalf of your presentation, our club will make a donation to community economic development in your name. And just once again, one more round of applause for Claire and Cruz and everybody. All right, now we have a Paul Harris Fellow presentation. Nancy Crandall, if you could come on up.
Thank you. Better? Okay. Paul Harris founded Rotary in 1905 in Chicago with 3 business associates so that professionals of diverse backgrounds could exchange ideas and form lasting friendships. Over time, Rotary's reach and vision extended to humanitarian service. In 1957, Rotary International established the Paul Harris Fellow Award in our founder's honor to express appreciation for the contribution of $1,000 to the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation. The Paul Harris Fellow Award is one of Rotary's most prestigious honors. Paul Harris once said, "Dreaming is not so bad if one dreams good dreams and makes them come true." Rotarians make dreams a reality through the extraordinary projects and activities that enhance international friendship and understanding and save and invigorate people's lives here at home and around the world. Rotary Foundation programs provide educational opportunities, food, potable water, sanitation, health care, immunizations, and shelter for millions of people. Today, we will honor a deserving individual who will join the worldwide ranks of Paul Harris Fellows. To help with today's presentation, I invite Roger Wills to come forward and tell us about the honoree. You never guess who it is.
As a Rotarian from Rotary Club of Ludington, I'd like to designate a Paul Harris Fellow as a tribute to a person whose life demonstrates a shared purpose for the objectives of the Rotary Foundation. In this case, this teenager was an Eagle Scout who loved polar bear camping and still, last fall, was hunting, camping in a tent. As an MSU student, this person was elected by 40,000 campus students for student government leadership. When no other legislators would step up to help, he and Jeff Hansen, Senator Jeff Hansen, spent 18 months working on a financial rescue plan for the city of public schools in Detroit, Michigan. He served more than 20 years in state legislature as legislative aide, having a positive impact in Michigan and now Muskegon residents. Currently, Director of Government and Strategic Initiatives for the City of Muskegon. I live in Ludington. As I drive by these signs, and I'm watching Muskegon grow, as your logo shows, and I'm also watching my son grow. Let me introduce my son, who I love, Peter Wills. He has no idea.
Yeah, but to have it given by your dad, wow.
Today, my fellow Rotarians, we move closer to a more peaceful world as Peter Wills becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. Peter, you are being recognized today as a Paul Harris Fellow in special appreciation for how your life exemplifies the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. You were designated to receive this recognition by your father, Roger Wills. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation Board of Trustees, you will receive 3 emblems of the Paul Harris Fellow,
Does
a
somebody pay
certificate,
money for you to be
a
nominated?
lapel pin, and a
So
medallion.
his dad
And you
paid
notice that
$1,000.
Roger is wearing his medallion today. The certificate states you have
Yeah,
been named a Paul
nominated.
Harris Fellow in appreciation of
Yes.
tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations between peoples of the world. We encourage you to wear your pin to all Rotary events to show support for the Rotary Foundation and its programs that save and invigorate people's lives around the world. Please accept our congratulations and sincere appreciation for your commitment to our shared goals of world understanding and peace. Rotarians and friends, please congratulate and recognize the newest Paul Harris Fellow in the world, Julie Wills. He said he had no idea this was going to happen. Probably wondered why his dad was coming with him today.
Thanks, Nancy. Yes, Pete, always be leery if someone invites you to a Rotary meeting and it's a family member, you know something's up. It's usually something good. All right, birthdays. We have Mike Miller on the 28th, Doug Wood on the 30th, Tony Johnson on the 2nd. Are any of those folks here or on Zoom? Is Doug on Zoom? Oh, well, we're going to sing to Doug then. All right. All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Okay, keeping with the Doug theme, our member spotlight this week is going to be Doug Brown. Take it away, Mike.
Hi, Doug Brown, and I joined Rotary in 2018. And one of the main reasons was in Rotary, one of the objectives is to develop acquaintances that gives you an opportunity for service. I have 2 children, 6 grandchildren. One of them lives actually across the street from me, which is, a great way to see your grandkids. And my daughter with the other 3 grandchildren live up in Ludington. Married and have been in the Muskegon area for over 35 years. I am co-owner of Grand River Office. We are a full-line commercial office furniture dealer. Worked with many Rotarians over the past few years. Our company is located on Pine and Western in downtown Muskegon, so we're basically involved in what's going on in the community and helping the local economy. We primarily try to use as much as possible local manufacturing and try to get the best value for your budget. I guess one of the things that I'm very proud of is Earth Day, which is going to be coming up here in the end of April. Through the Interact Club, we were able to work at Pioneer Park and other parks to help clean up some of the debris that was out there. So that was a fun project, and we're going to do it again. And some of my fellow commissioners and Rotarians that were there, we helped provide lunch for the students, which I think was a fun day, and hopefully the weather will be better this year.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug. All right, Missy Horton, we have an induction. If you and Jeff can come on up.
All right, I'm excited today and happy to have my coworker, Jeff Bessinger, join our club. Sorry, we're not on the screen. And so this is very exciting. Jeff is a native of Muskegon. He graduated from Reese Puffer High School and then went on to attend Muskegon Community College. After he graduated with his associates there, he went to Grand Valley State University for his bachelor's and then went on to Western Michigan University for his master's. He married Kelly, who's also from Muskegon, and for the last 20 years, they have been raising their family of 2 boys here in Muskegon, Colton, who's 14, and Eli, who is 12. Both attend Reese Puffer schools. He is currently the Collections and Exhibits Director as well as the Archivist for the Lakeshore Museum Center. So he is the person you talk to when you need that picture of what your building used to look like. He has been employed at the Lakeshore Museum Center since 2015, but he started as an intern in 2011 and continued to volunteer until we had to hire him because he wasn't going to go away. We haven't been sorry. Jeff has a long history of giving back to his community. He was a board member of the former Lakeshore Sports Commission and volunteered in his son's classrooms and events from 1st through 6th grades. He's also a huge baseball fan, and he's been coaching for the last 8 years. He's been on the Reese Puffer Little League board since 2018 and currently is the board vice president. This year, he's the coach of the Reese Puffer JV baseball team and an assistant on his youngest son's travel team and Little League team. So he's very busy this time of year. He comes from a long line of Rotary. His dad, Craig Bessinger, is a member of the Grand Haven Rotary Club, and his brother-in-law, Don Kalis, is a member of our club. So there's a connection there that you might not have known about. So I am pleased to welcome the next Rotarian.
Take the mic. And Jeff want to switch places. All right, my baseball brother, let's get this going here. Jeff and I see each other up at the fields many times. All right. Fellow Rotarians and honored guests, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to induct a new member. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It's my pleasure to have your sponsor give you this pin by which your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a member. We ask you to wear it proudly. I would also like to challenge you to share the gift that has been given to you and invite another person with like qualities of character, reputation, and commitment to join our club within the next 3 months. The honor of becoming a Rotarian is only surpassed by sponsoring new members. Do you accept this challenge? He said he does. All right, thank you. If everyone could please rise, please join me in welcoming the newest Rotarian in the world, Jeff Bessinger. Congratulations. Good luck to you. Getting a little bit of everything at this meeting. Okay, on to announcements. Mark Myers has an announcement, and I'll just kick it off while he's coming up to say our Pores for Polio fundraiser is kicking into high gear. We have 2 more events left. We have tonight, which I know is going to be a good one, at Wonderland Distillery at 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow at the Salty Pecker in Norton Shores at 5 o'clock as well. So you want to come out and have a pour for polio. The donations will be matched 2-to-1 by the Gates Foundation. And we've just been having a great time with this fundraiser. So please make it on out to Wonderland tonight and Salty Pecker tomorrow if you can. Mark.
Thank you, Jason. On behalf of the Seaway Run Committee, I'm pleased to report that it's going to be our biggest and best event in many, many years. We've already surpassed the stretch goal on sponsorships, so we're going to raise more money than we have ever. However, we can't pull off a successful event without many, many volunteers. So how many do we have? Do we have more than 8 this week?
I think we're in double digits now.
We're in double digits, but we're trying to get 100. So Aaron Mikey, as you leave, has provided a sign-up list. We need folks the night before and, of course, the day of the race. And there's different things that you can do. It won't take much more than a half day, so I'd encourage you to help out where you can. Again, the event is Saturday, June 25th. And then switching gears, I want to remind Rotarians that you have until tomorrow night at midnight to make donations to the RI Disaster Response Fund if you haven't already done so. Thank you to those who have. I've heard from some of you. We haven't quantified everything yet, but I think we've surpassed our goal. I'd like to report that right now Rotary has raised $10.4 million, and they've awarded $1.8 million in 64 different disaster grants. So let's give a round of applause for that effort. Thanks so much. Thanks, Jason.
Mark, you're a role model for our club. Not only are you involved, but you know how to give not one, but two perfect Rotary announcements. So thank you very much for being prepared. Okay. Also, moving along, we have a video from Mike Vogus as he's queuing this up. You can't just drop in and do an announcement. You want to? Come on. You're here now. What the heck? It'd be awkward if we didn't do it. Go ahead. Okay. Nope, you're going to need to use the mic.
Thank you for bending the rules a bit. Yeah, okay. Yesterday, the DEI committee met, and we made a rather momentous decision, and that was to, you all remember the mixer that we've done every spring. Well, instead of doing that, we are combining, utilizing our connections in Rotary with Troy Bell. We are combining with Muskegon Heights, and they are celebrating over the weekend of the 19th. We are responsible for Friday, and we voted to spend a good portion of our budget for that. And so we'll be working with the Heights on a mixer on that Friday before the Juneteenth celebration that the Heights is putting together. So we thought it was a great joining of forces, and it's rather late to get started on this, so you'll see us getting volunteers at lunch. I'll be signing you up.
What day is this event happening?
The 17th of June.
17th of June. All right, we'll bend the rules for DEI. Thanks, Marcia. Okay, now Mike Vogus has a video to show us, and as he's queuing that up, Kim needs 2 volunteers. We are moving over to the Lake House next week, so this will be our last meeting at the Delta to help carry stuff over. You can drive it over to the Lake House after the meeting today. So, Mike?
The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do.
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendship?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Once again. So we're using that video on our YouTube channel and on social media to attract members and let them know what Rotary is about, so they'll come out and check out a meeting. Okay, on to our raffle. Eric Seifert, what are we doing first today? $20, starting at the top. Oh, the universe. I like that. 488 for $20. Oh, Kathy Brubaker Clark. Ask a question, get $20.
That number would be 446.
446. Oh. A second newest member. Last one for $5. Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of our meeting. I want to thank Dan, Lori, Brandon, Cruz, Tyree, Esteban, Deontay, Roger. Congratulations, Jeff. Congratulations, Peter. Next week, we will be at the Lake House, as I said, so we'll be meeting there through the end of the summer. So join us for our meeting, because you want to come out next week because we're going to have a great program. We're going to be learning about 3 events in Muskegon happening. We have the Lakeshore Art Festival, Irish Fest, and Burning Foot. So you'll want to come out to hear about that. If everyone could please rise for the 4-way test. Should be fresh in your mind. Okay. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, we're adjourned.